washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes had been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinia, Asimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult
What about
of
something new?
Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, a Tomb of Annihilation, Dungeons and Dragons epic campaign that has been going on for just over a year right here on Twitch. We started out on Monday nights, we've moved to Sunday nights, where we continue to play through this Tomb of Annihilation campaign. We've got 3 of the original players, 2 of the original characters, and after tonight, we'll see if those numbers change at all. I threaten them every week with this, and I've yet to kill them outright. But again, we'll see. If Dunala keeps pissing off Ubo, or not Ubo, Ubtao, there's a difference between that turtle and the absentee god of Chult. A big difference. So, real quick, you might notice some domain devils hanging out below me. Right down here, there's 3 of them there. Those are domain devils that can be purchased for 500 bits or $5, or a raid, or a subscription, or a resubscription, or any such thing over here on Twitch. The donation bar is down below the video. The domain devils will allow the players to re-roll 1d20 roll and take the new roll, or force me as the DM to re-roll 1d20 roll and take that new roll. Just a way that you as the audience can have an impact on the game. And now, without much more ado, we are going to go around the overlay here, have everybody introduce themselves, tell us who you're playing, and then while you're doing that, think about which one of you would like to attempt a recap for a point of inspiration. Marquise, why don't you start us off?
What's up, everyone? I'm Marquise. I play the character Dunala, a Wanty shadow sorcerer. Good stuff. I wasn't here last week because apparently I turned into smoke and vanished. So excited to see what that comes to.
All right, Connor.
I'm Connor. I'm half of Dice on Ice, another YouTube channel you can find somewhere on the internet. I'm playing Eric, an Arakakra rogue of the super lofty monastery of Kirsabal. I am on this adventure to be a hero for my people and help out these fine folk with their quests.
Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I am the other half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and tonight I will be playing Brilinia, the Azamar Warlock.
All right, and Mike.
I'm not unmuted, or I'm not muted. Yay. So we're off to a good start. Hi everyone, I'm Mike. I'm playing the half-elf paladin Vale, who, after getting confirmation that, yep, I'm the voice of Ubtao in all my powerfulness, I'm just ready to play. And And I'm the last person, and no one else said that they would do the recap. So not it. Damn it. All right, well, I guess I'll do the recap for a point of inspiration. I mean, I've only got like 7, so I mean, might as well keep putting it into that inspiration Swiss bank account that I currently have somewhere in Bern. Okay, so when we last left off, a tiny little tiki fairy thingy blew some smoke into my face and made me see some weird stuff. I got to talk to well, for what we know, is Ubtao Actual, the great and powerful god of Chult. He helped me to understand everything in the vastness of Chult and helped me to understand what it is we were doing and who it is we were fighting, kind of. And of course, had mentioned that whatever this other voice of Ubtao individual that we had been talking to is the false voice of Ubtao. Then gifts were bestowed, all the gifts. So I was given I had chosen the knowledge of Chult and thus got some cool understanding and magicalness effects, and of course, all of my friends got magical effects except for Dunala, who wasn't here at this time. But I'm sure that'll be covered. After that, we went and started exploring around, and I decided to play the more, hey, I'm going to be paranoid because at any moment my character could probably die, and decided to sneak the fuck around everywhere. Why? Because I'm probably going to die. And sure enough, as soon as I encountered some incredibly and ridiculously lifelike looking stone statue, I knew that we were in for a bit of a world of hurt. And we were attacked by these 3 bird things whose name I shall not try to repronounce because 1, I can't repronounce it. 2, I can't exactly 100 remember it. All I
Ebly.
remember,
Ebly.
right, the Zeebly. See, I said that last time, and then that's when I got the shaking of the head. See, you're doing it right now. So the Ebly went and tried to attack us. At first, to no avail. See what I did there?
I see what you
And
did there.
their first attack kind of pooped the bed, and we did kind of sort of laugh at Jake's terrible die rolls, but that's okay because he turned around and kind of nailed us to the wall, especially Eric down there. Yeah, he decided that he was going to fly up super high, and then he got hit with a spell, which made him fall like super fast. Because gravity is such a pain in the butt, I decided to dispatch a bunch of these Zeebly. See what I did there? And then go dashing off to try and help him. As he kept getting closer and closer to the ground, due to a unfortunate lack of communication, really it's all my fault, between myself and Berlinia, I decided that I was going to Misty Step 30 feet out to catch him and then land in the water into this like really cool magic thing. Except Berlinia, who is way cooler than me, decided to just like dump him into a parallel dimension or a little pocket dimension. And thankfully, it wasn't like the dimension of, one giant, massive, deep fat fryer, and then we would all be eating like KFC Eric. Point to note, this is not sponsored by KFC. So, but luckily, we all saved that. And Eric landed, I don't know, I am assuming, at least from the incredible explanation of it, that he landed in the elemental plane of air, which he was probably just kind of flying around and being a bro. So he was having some fun. And then he kind of, he bamfed back just as we were dispatching the last of the silly Ebly. There you go. And we all landed, kind of ended up in the pool area. Then we were surrounded by Ebly, and then some woman came out and said that she was very, very happy that we had proven ourselves worthy to be in her audience. Which I don't know who this lady is, but she sounds like Duchess Penelope pretentiousness, if you ask me. So I don't know. I'm thinking we're gonna have to beat her up, but that's just who knows? We'll see.
Very well done. Very well done. And so we are going to go back to that moment where, as the Schwinga blew the Schwinga dust into your face, you proceeded to have this long conversation with Ubtao. Gifts were bestowed, but to your friends, but a moment had passed. And then they found themselves eerily blessed in various ways. In that same instance, Dunala vanished into a puff of smoke. It's not the first time he's done that, so it didn't alarm you too much. But we're going to go to that moment, Dunala, where once again, you, as this Schwinga appears before Vale, and it blows this, for lack of a better description, fairy dust into Vale's face. You see the gardens of Nangalore, the jungles of Chult, and your friends around you dissolve into a mist, and all is darkness around you. And much like the last time, everything sort of resolves into shape in swirling mists, and you find yourself once again high in the air above the land of Chult, looking down on this massive jungle peninsula. And as you're looking down at the land of Chult, you see, as your position sort of rotates so that you're more or less bearing towards the south, or excuse me, towards the northeast. You see the Eldani Basin and Lake Luo reposition themselves below you into blue, watery eyes. You watch as the volcano at the Kobold Mountains near Rakhamar and the peaks of flame expand and twist into a fire-filled mouth. And the land of Chult speaks to you, Dunala. You see in a wisp of smoke an image of Ubo, the turtle, appear before you. And the volcanic mouth of Chult speaks to you. Remember. Ubo disappears in a wisp. A figure you know only by description and reading her writings then appears before you in a wisp of smoke. A tiefling woman in a long leather jacket with a pistol on her side and a small miniature-sized horse on her shoulder. And the voice speaks to you again and says, Revere. The image disappears. And this time, Berlinia's form appears before you. And the voice again speaks. Nurture. She vanishes. The newest companion to your party, the Eric Cochran with his bright plumage, appears before you in a wisp, in a swirl. And no sooner does he appear than he disappears again as the voice speaks. Trust. And finally, the form of Vale Istafal appears before you. The volcanic mouth, all of the volcanoes that form the mouth of Chult, spew hot flame, illuminating, backlighting Vale Istafal's form before you, so that he appears almost to have a halo of light and flame behind him. And this time the voice speaks the word believe. Below you, the world of Chult looks just as it always has. The lakes do not form eyes. The volcanoes do not form a mouth. You find yourself plummeting back down towards the surface of the world of Toril, the land of Faerun, the land of Chult, the garden of Nangalore. As you are descending rapidly, what would be your one-word thought to each of these words that was spoken to you? Remember.
It's not so much a thought that Dunala has, it's a single emotion. Well, not, yeah, actually, it is an emotion, even though he can't normally feel those. And it penetrates the veil of his wanty mind. And that emotion is just an utter, unshakable faith he has at that moment.
Revere. Speaking of Gunslinger Cole, who you never met.
Again, another emotion, this time. More of a memory, actually, if I'm being correct. And it's a memory of his daughter's face and the sadness he felt, or the last bit of sadness, I guess, he ever felt since becoming a Wanti.
Nurture.
Again, his daughter, but this time instead of sadness, it's the happiness of the memories he had raising her, caring for her. And not, I guess it is a type of love that kind of is fostered and planted in Dunala at this moment for Bolenia, in the sense of a father and a daughter or a guardian in their ward.
Trust.
It comes back to that faith earlier that he had with the whole Ubo and remember emotion.
And finally, believe.
For Vale, it's different. It's not so much faith that he has in Vale. It's this desperation he places in Vale. This need and this necessity for Vale to succeed, because if Vale succeeds, he believes that he will succeed in his own goal.
As you have this thought that's more emotion than thought, believing in Vale, the image of your daughter reappears before you. Though she seems unbothered by the rapid descent towards the land in which you are currently engaged, and with each 100 feet or so you fall, the wispy smokiness of your form seems to be becoming more solid. And your daughter looks at you. And she doesn't speak the words, but you hear them as thoughts and emotion in your mind. You have to choose what you are now or your humanity. Which do you desire most?
Dunala stares at his daughter as they fall plummeting back to Chult below. And when she asks that question, he closes his eyes for a second and he thinks about everything that's happened. And for just the briefest moment, the image of a snake flashes on the backs of his eyelids before he finally says, "This is no choice. Humanity was only the other answer."
A smile turns up the corner of her mouth. And suddenly, as if blown by a strong wind, her form wisps away. I would like you to roll me I want you to roll me a d12. Because I just lost my place and I'm trying to find it again.
3.
Wow. Okay. I want you to make a dexterity saving throw as you see yourself rapidly descending into the center of the ruined temple in the midst of Nangalore.
That'll be a 21.
And I'd like a perception check on your way down.
That will be a 2.
All right. You land. The last thing you see, you get a clear view as you fall through a very small opening, barely large enough for your form to fit through, in the ruined domed roof over the center of the temple in the middle of Nangalore. And you find yourself landing with a splash. Nobody's around to witness it as you land in the classic superhero 3-point landing. Swarms of snakes splash up out of the water and slam against the walls at the side. A figure. You are in the middle of a pool that is about almost 40 feet across, vaguely shaped like a slightly elongated octagon. Towering above this pool is an 18-foot tall stone statue of an ancient Chultan warrior. Snakes are swarming all through this water around you. What would you like to do? The pit is also, I will tell you in a minute how deep the pit is.
That's my racial traits. Let's see where it was. There we go. Dunala looks around at all of these snakes swarming around him, and he feels nothing about it. The experience he just went to is still fresh on his mind, though the emotion is already completely faded. He can barely even remember what it felt like. But when he sees all of these snakes, he casts animal friendship on them using his Wanti trait, and he says to these snakes, "You must now make a wisdom saving throw. Be quiet. I am trying to think."
Hold up while I look up the wisdom of a swarm of snakes.
They're very wise beings.
What's the DC?
What is my spellcasting DC? 8 plus 3 plus 5. So what, 17?
They fail. They fail.
Bet.
So 2 things. You're wrong. You do remember everything that just happened. And though it lingers like a nearly forgotten, but not entirely forgotten dream, you still remember the emotions that you felt. You do remember being given a choice. And it's echoing in your mind that you said it was only ever human. And you notice something else. I'd like you to make an Arcana check
Ooh, I'm proficient.
at advantage.
Ooh. All right, so that's going to be a total of a 15.
It's exactly what you needed. You feel something, though you don't know exactly how it came about, though you can surmise very easily that it had something to do with your recent experience. You have been given a charm of animal conjuring. This is an innate spellcasting ability that does not use spell slots, but you can only do it 3 times. So write this down. 3 times you can cast Conjure Animals at 3rd level.
Dope. Dope, dope, sick, dope, sick, 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 dope.
All right, you're in a 20-foot pit.
I charm the snakes.
You
so,
did charm the snakes.
I'm gonna look around. Well, Dunal's gonna look around the room. First, he's gonna look at this giant thing, this giant figure that's towering over everything. Then he's gonna see what else is going on outside of this dome and try to just basically orient himself for where he's at.
There's not much else you can see from 20 feet down in this pit.
Oh, okay. So I gotta climb out. Gotcha. Is there any like rope or anything, or nah?
There are no ropes hanging in this pit.
Dunala, he doesn't curse under his breath, but he wonders why in the world Utal keeps putting him in situations like he's Vale and athletically trained and all that when he's not. And then he approaches the edge of the pit and he's going to try and climb out of it.
All right, give me a athletics check.
All right, that is probably going to be a failure with a 5.
The edge, the stone is just slick and smooth, and you're finding difficulty finding any kind of purchase. There are these, at about 2 feet high, there's these 6-inch diameter pipes, and you can see snakes sliding in and out of those. The water in this pit is about 18 inches deep.
People just put Dunala wherever they want to put Dunala without care for what Dunala does, without care for what Dunala wants to do. And then he's going to look at the water around him and start doing these hand gestures. I don't think this will actually work. I just want to see if it does. I want to use the cantrip Shape Water to try and shape the water into stairs with bits of stone in them for me to walk up to get higher up the edge of the pit.
Interesting. Shape water.
Specifically using effect 2, which is you cause the water to form into simple shapes and animate it for up to 1 hour.
Is that a
Cantrip.
no? Is that from Xanathar's?
Yep.
Yep.
Wow, I just about opened right to it. So, choose an hour of water that you can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube. Manipulate it. I like it, so I'm going to allow it.
Dope.
They're very narrow stairs, and you have to form them sort of spread out a little bit to be able to, shape that much water into the amount of stairs you need.
Mm-hmm.
While you are shaping the stairs and climbing out, to which direction would you climb out of the pit? I can actually show you the pit.
Oh, what the fuck? Let me roll a d4. For which one?
So this central area is where you are.
East.
You're in this pit. So the statue is to the north.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to the south.
All right.
So I rolled a d4 and I rolled south.
So as you climb out of the pit, walking up these water stairs, give me a perception check.
All right, it's going to be a 5.
Wow. That is unusual for Dunala. Carry on. What would you like to do?
Well, now that Dunal is out of these steps, out of the pits, he takes he basically is looking around the room, and I imagine he sees these two exits into that one balcony going to the north.
So here's what you can see. There's a balcony exit behind the statue to the north. Immediately under the spear arm of the Chultan warrior is a stone urn. Next to it, where the circle and the star is a humanoid-shaped statue that's difficult to make out from over here, that's facing away from you. There is a ruined balcony right where the plus 35 feet is on the lower left-hand corner. And there are door openings is a ruined door that lies shattered to the left, and a closed set of doors to the right.
Let's go to that hard-to-make-out statue.
Very well. As you get closer, you can see that this statue depicts a man reaching for the urn, his gaze turned toward the north and where the balcony is. The statue is incredibly lifelike and very detailed.
Dunala nods at this, and it strikes him as very odd, extraordinarily odd. And then he looks back into the pits, and then at the statue and at the urn, and he's going to walk out towards where that balcony is.
All right. As you walk out onto the balcony, here is what you see. You see Vale. Remind me, did you actually dimension door, or were you still up on the edge of the wall?
I was up on the edge of the wall, but I had jumped into the pool to fight somebody or grab somebody, and I think Eric had fallen in with, and Berlinia, I don't know, was just being cool. And
where were you, Berlinia, when you cast your spell? Oh, you were flying, weren't you?
Yeah, about 30 feet away, I believe.
Okay, so Berlinia, you had landed. So what you see, Dunala, there's a ruined statue all throughout this pond pool thing to the north. You see Berlinia just now alighting, her spectral wings vanishing, Vale suddenly appearing or kind of sloshing through the water. Eric nowhere to be found. A couple of these dead stork-like birds visible in there. And suddenly, seemingly from nowhere, the water splashes upward between Vale and Berlinia. And Eric, his feathers sodden, appearing in a spreading pool of blood from wounds sustained. And at this same moment, all around the perimeter of that pool, including flanking you, Dunala, first 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, then 16, 32, until there's easily 2 or 3 dozen of these 8-foot-tall stork-like Ebli landing on the walls surrounding this entire area around you. To the east, that domed structure opens, and from within, you can hear "You have done very well. You have passed my tests and proved yourself worthy of my audience. Please, adventurers, join me inside, won't you? What would you all like to do?"
This is not what it looks like. I know there are birds beside me. I know it looks like you've been fighting birds. I am not with the birds. This is just where Ubtao puts me. And then I'm going to go into the water and try to disassociate myself from these birds that have been fighting my friends.
I don't trust him. I stab him with my rapier. Also, Divine Smite. Hang on a second. Yup, nat 20.
How are you getting down into the water, Dunella? You're about 15 feet above it.
Are there no stairs on this part?
No, it's a balcony overlooking the water.
Now we'll just go to the edge of the balcony and sit down. Like I'm just kind of stuck here for right now.
Yeah, it's kind of broken apart on the right. So you could awkwardly climb down.
Yeah, will do that.
The birds, a couple of the birds, as you climb down, kind of flutter their wings and snap their beaks at you. Long, pointy, sharp beaks.
If
What
you
about-
do it again? I will blow you to pieces. All right. It looks like some of you have already been blown to pieces. Vale loves to blow things. Vale, do you tell him you love to blow these things to pieces?
Yeah.
Thank you, Vale. See? Now stop snapping your beaks at me.
What about you, Eric? You were plunging to... You don't know what happened. Two birds were coming at you, and then all of a sudden you just had a feeling of falling, and then you were someplace else, all air-filled and calm, and then you were submerged and came sputtering up in the water.
What kind of state am I in physically from all this ordeal?
I don't know, how much damage did you take?
I can't remember the damage that was taken.
You didn't write it down?
No, actually, the whole ordeal with you falling in, Jake actually had mentioned last week that you did not take any damage because you had just fallen through. And then when you landed and you didn't actually get hurt because you were
Right, I
basically
just...
flying.
Correct. I meant from other damage that you had taken during the fight.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. We're good. I'm on the same page. Yeah, he's just kind of like standing up, just like shaking off his feathers and like, just spraying it and shaking off that feathers because, moist feathers cannot fly. He's going to try and like climb onto the debris around him. And he just like looks around and just trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Berlinia.
Kind of snapping his eyes.
Can we see the source of the voice, or is it coming from inside that building?
You cannot see the source of the voice. It's just coming from within inside that domed building.
So Berlinia would begin to cautiously approach. Sorry, who are you? Just trying to like turn and crane her neck so she can get a glimpse of what's in.
You said you're moving towards?
Slowly, yeah.
All right, I would like... Actually, I think everybody being in the water would probably start to notice this too. There's this entire pool, besides the large broken stones. Excuse me. You notice that the bottom of this pool is very uneven. It's about 2 feet deep of water. But you feel like the pool is actually probably deeper than that. As you're walking across these uneven stones, you have to kind of watch where you're stepping. And the water is incredibly clear. And you can see that what you are walking across is layers of stone fish, turtles, birds, and a couple humanoid figures scattered in amongst the debris, all made of stone. And you said what? You said, who are you?
Yep.
Oh, please, dear. Save your questions. Come inside.
Question.
Yes.
No, sorry. No, sorry, Megan. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Go ahead.
If I can see her face, would I recognize her?
You cannot see her face. You cannot see inside. This whole place is shrouded. Actually, you have dark vision.
I does.
Who all has dark vision?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can also see through walls.
What? That's freaking rad.
I just realized
what?
that.
Is this a invocation?
Yeah.
You can see through wall.
I can see
Jeez.
through solid objects to a range of 30 feet.
None of us are safe anymore.
All of a sudden, Berlinia becomes the central figure of every 80s male fantasy movie.
No, what are you talking about? That's see-through walls. We're taking her on a heist. We're going back to Port Nyanzaro. We're forgetting this whole thing. We're going to go to Waterdeep.
Go head north to Waterdeep.
Banks. Yep, we're going to go to hit all the banks, and we're just you just walk right in.
This is the real dragon heist.
So I perceive objects as ghostly transparent images, and I have to concentrate. So I think
Okay.
she would definitely concentrate.
So, those of you that have dark vision can see into the dimly lit interior. The difference between the bright daylight of outside and the darkness inside still prevents you from seeing too much detail. But you can see basically that there is in the center, there's a raised dais, and there is a figure reclining on a divan atop the dais. Berlinia, as you begin to concentrate and just reaching out with this sense that you've never used before, you see the stone sort of shift a little bit. And suddenly you can see these images, like spectral images, and see the entirety of the room. It's a single large chamber that seems to be arranged like some kind of an apartment. You can make out that there are cloths hanging, like curtains or tapestries, you're not sure, hanging from the ceilings and draping down. You can see this sort of, better than the others even, the shape of this long divan atop this circular dais. And reclining on it is a female in flowing robes. And you can just make out that despite the heat, her arms, her head, her face, everything is covered in veils of feathers. You can also see right next to her on the dais is a large clay urn out of which grows a single orchid.
She would quickly turn upon she'd almost be shocked herself that she could actually see this. So as she's focusing, she kind of starts and blinks a couple of times, and she turns to the rest of them. I think probably also seeing Dunala for the first time, and just kind of nods to him and there's the orchid in there.
Let's go take it.
Strangers have come to Nangalore, my love. What boon do our subjects seek? Pray tell, they don't make me wait any longer. It is not wise to make a queen wait.
I'm gonna start walking up.
Well, I see you guys inside, and I'm gonna walk in with Vale.
Actually, I'm gonna walk up the stairs, and just before I get into the building or into this kind of large room, I'm gonna kneel down, and if Dunala keeps walking forward, I'm gonna grab him and kind of like bring him down with me and kneel down.
Dunala was already on that energy. The moment you kneel, he's already kneeling.
Your Highness, forgive us. We are here to, well, we are here on a quest, and it would please us if your Highness could assist us. And I'm not making eye contact. I've got my eyes like on the ground, but I'm I'm waiting. I'm waiting for an attack. So
And Dunala listens and he whispers at the side of his mouth, "You took notes. Good job, Vale."
yeah, well, just better to be safe than sorry.
My dear, my love, see how they prostrate themselves before me. They know
the
when.
word's actually prostrate. Prostate is never mind.
Silence!
Okay.
You hear this outburst, Eric and Berlinia. Where are the others? Why do you linger outside? Why have they not come inside, my love?
They fear you, Your Highness. They fear your great and awesome power. And right behind me, I'm going to be making a motion if any of them can see it to like get up here, get up here.
Berlinia is kind of hurrying up, head down, just looking around at the birds. She follows suit behind Vale and Dunala kneeling.
Vale, make a persuasion roll.
Let me just double check here, making sure I got what I have in persuasion again. Oh yeah, that. Nice. That is a 19.
She seems to accept your words. And what of you, Aarakocra, with the sword and feathers? So much braver than your kin coming to my place of exile, where other birds fear.
It would be of a shame for a bird to not know the places of which he flies. I am honored to be in this home you have established for yourself here.
You are an Aarakocra of Kirsabol, yes. It is true, my love. My love. This one hails from Kirsabol.
Maybe.
Your people are harboring my last descendants, yes. Oh, yes, I know. Of the princess Moxenare and her little brother Na. Tell me, why are you here? What brings all of you to my garden?
You see, madam, we are here. Well, I am here not on any kind of itinerary,
Wait!
more as a...
Stop speaking, Birdman.
Apologies.
You. The Chultan one. You. Look at me.
His eyes slowly lift and he looks up at it.
You hear a sharp intake of breath. My love. I can see the beauty of Chult in his eyes. This one is the most beautiful I have ever seen. You, what is your name?
Dunala.
Dunala. I like the way that sounds. Come, stand here at the foot.
Dunala does so. He's beginning the operation now.
So you climb the dais and stand next to the couch upon which she reclines by the foot. Dunala. Are these then your subjects? Your inferiors that travel with you as valets?
They are my vassals, my queen. I have my god, Vale is to fall. I have my entertainment, Eric, and I have my scribe, Berlinia.
Make a deception check at advantage.
Damn right. All right, so that's going to be 21.
They all look so capable. What of this one, the half-elf, who was speaking to me earlier?
He is a man whose swordplay is greater than his words, I assure you, but it is without, what is the word? May I speak in Chultan to you, my queen?
I can only imagine the musical notes that would come from your lips as you speak in our mother tongue, which she says to you in Chultan.
And he responds back to her in Chultan. He is a man whose skill is superb. His blade, when he wields it, glows like all the stars in the night sky. And I personally believe that Ubtao himself has lent his fangs to this man's combat prowess.
At the mention of Ubtao, she sits upright. The veil of feathers kind of shifts and flows around a bit as she's in a seated position on this couch very rapidly. You would dare speak the name of Ubtao, the absentee lord of Chult, who left us to our own devices?
I don't speak of him in a kind manner, my queen. No, I would never do such a thing to you. No, when I say Ubtao has chosen him, I mean that the veil is the one who will destroy whatever remnants of Ubtao are left and become, hopefully one day, a great predator in his stead.
Make a deception check at disadvantage.
Ah, shit. I'm gonna have to domain die this. Ooh, actually, I'm a domain die just in case.
All right, domain devil.
All right. That's a 15.
You must choose your words so carefully, Dunala. There are some things that do not please my ears. Remind me, Vale, did you introduce yourself by name? Or did you, Dunala, say his name?
I said his name.
Okay. Vale, Istafal, you hear in common. Rise to your feet, warrior.
I stand up.
Is this true? What Dunala has spoken to me in our mother tongue? You are the warrior chosen who has taken up the mantle to destroy the absentee god of Chult Ubtao.
Tunalo looks at you. He looks at you so fucking hard. Harder than he's done anything else in his entire life.
Vale.
He's looking so hard at you, he's looking through you.
Vale, give me an insight check.
All right. You know, it's a damn good thing.
And Dunala, I want you to make just a persuasion check.
Gotcha.
That's a 17.
That's an 18 plus 5, so that's a 23.
Okay. So you can see Dunala, you can see the way he's just looking at you with this intensity, trying to communicate something. You get the sense that he's trying to tell you to just play along. What do you say?
Everything that Dunala speaks is true, Your Highness. And that's it. That's all I say. Knowing that I don't speak Chult and have absolutely no idea what he said. So in my mind, it's true.
In the back of Dunala's head, he suddenly regrets not teaching Ubtao's Jesus, Chult.
Actually, this is the one moment where it's good that you didn't, because that I don't, I'm not lying. I'm not lying because I have no idea what you said, but I'm just saying that you're speaking the truth.
Yeah, you have plausible deniability here.
Bam.
You, young woman, rise, stand.
Linya would stand, but she wouldn't look at the woman in the eye.
There is an undeniable beauty about you. You are touched by the gods, but you are scarred by people. And she just sort of almost dismissively gestures towards your wrists. Tell me, was it this one? She gestures over to Donala. That did this to you? Did he teach you a lesson?
No, of course not.
Dunala looks at you now, Merlin. You're so fucking hard.
She she just kind of she looks at Donala now.
All right. Okay. She turns as you say this. She turns to Dunala. It is good. It is good. You do not mistreat those that are in your service. It would be the sign of an unwise leader.
Of course, my queen.
The four of you have come here for a reason. The three of you in the service of Dunala, the Chultan. Tell me, Dunala, why is it you are here? What is it that brings you to my place of exile, my place of retreat?
Dunala knows that half-truths are better than lies and better than truths, oddly enough. And so he looks to her and he says, bowing his head to her, my people are in great need, my queen. There is something we need to throw back the plague that has struck my fiefdom. I believe that there is a black orchid that is here that would help us devise a cure for these people from the curse and plague of undeath that has claimed them.
What is this plague of undeath of which you speak? I know of no such thing.
For that I am thankful, for I would not wish this curse on anyone, my queen. But this plague of undeath, every time someone dies, no matter how we bury them, no matter how we sanctify the corpse, it comes back. It comes back angry, it comes back fast, and it comes back harder to kill than before, which is very unfortunate.
And why should I be concerned of a death curse that plagues your kingdom?
I have heard, my queen, that you are one who is not only honest and just, but one who is generous and fair. I have come searching you for your aid. I am willing to pay any price and give you any favor that you ask.
You would offer me a favor of my choosing?
So long as my people are saved, then yes.
Sorry.
Murder Eric. Eat him before me.
I'm trying to find the right thing to roll against. Here we go. I would like you to make a persuasion check.
All right, it's a 19 plus 5, so 24.
It is most admirable, Dunala, that you put the lives and the well-being of your people above yourself, and that you and your fellow travelers would risk your lives for this purpose. This orchid here. Yes, this is the black orchid you seek. But tell me, Dunala, how can this flower be used to stop this death curse?
In my fiefdoms, there is a great alchemist. This alchemist and monk is a woman of power that I can only barely fathom myself. She has told me that with the black orchid and a few other ingredients, that this can be done. So I've traveled across all of Chult and Chult's many fiefdoms and searched for these ingredients. This is the last one for her ritual.
You know what I find most peculiar and intriguing, Dunala?
My queen?
There is also the use for the black orchid in a very potent ritual by the Aarakocra of Kia Sabol. Oh yes, I know of the one who calls herself teacher. You reek of her blood. And she's looking right at you, Eric. I know that this teacher of Kia Sabol would use the orchid in a ritual to grant the power of flight to those who request it. Is this the alchemist of which you speak, Dunala, with your silver tongue?
The woman of Kirsabol who calls herself teacher is an enemy of mine. I name her not an alchemist. And this has more truth in it than anything Dunala has said so far.
And so, you would have me just give you this flower? This rare orchid sought by so many for so many various rituals that has such an incredible potency and power?
My queen, I, Dunala, am capable of many things to fulfill whatever request that you offer.
There is only one request I have of you, Dunala. Your friends can have the orchid. Take it. Take it to the Aarakocra, take it to your alchemist, I don't care. But in exchange, you will stay here with me. You will become my servant, my concubine, my lover, my one and only.
I agree.
Then it is settled. After the marking, then you shall take the orchid.
Dunala turns and he looks directly at you, Berlinia. And he regrets not taking that sending stone either, so he could send this message. He looks at you and he gives you and then Vale and then Eric the look that T-5 to a fireball dropping. What does this marking entail, my queen?
Are you wearing a shirt?
He's wearing his robes.
Remove your ropes.
He does what Connor just did and lowers his robes.
Are you wearing any small clothes beneath, or do you stand nude before her?
He has small clothes.
Dang it. You hear an inescapable as you disrobe. And then, are you standing facing her?
Yeah, but he's not looking like up. He's like looking down, like bowing his head in respect.
Turn around, Dunala. Turn your back towards me.
Dunala takes in a deep breath. He weighs all of his options at once about what he has to do. And then, as he's beginning to turn,
Your audio just...
sorry. As he's turning, He can see where the black orchid is, right?
Yeah, it's over by where at the opposite end of where you're standing.
As he's turning, mid-turn, he casts Blink and disappears into the ethereal plane.
What is the components to cast Blink?
Let me look real quick. It's verbal and somatic, but I would use my meta magic to subtle cast it.
Okay. Then disregard.
Mhm.
So you just blink and you're gone.
I'm gone. Basically how it works is I'm in the ethereal plane.
Yep.
I can come out. I roll a dice to see if I could stay in it at the start of every round, and I could see everyone around me still.
I thought you had to roll to even blink in the first place.
Let me look real quick. I have it open. Roll a d20 at the end of each of your turns for the duration of the spell. On a roll of 11 or higher, you vanish from the current plane of existence.
Yeah.
If you want, I can roll first.
Yeah, I do want you to roll first to see, because you do cast the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if you actually blink.
Can I domain dice this too?
You've got 2 of them left, so go for it.
We got 1 left. Excuse you, Jake. All right, perfect. That's a 19. I had a 9 at first.
As soon as Dunala disappears, she screams, "What treachery is this? What? Where has he gone? I will hold you all accountable. They are betraying us, my love." And she stands. She rises before you. And from within her feathery robes, she draws out a longsword. And I would like you all to roll for initiative. You are so close. So close.
I finally roll well. So I got a natural 20 plus 8. That's a 28.
All right, hold on. Let me get my... For a second, I thought you guys were going to get out of there without having to fight her. There and... Berlinia... Eric... We've got... Okay, Vale, what do you get?
We got an 11.
Dunala.
28.
Jeez, damn. Brill.
See, alert, man. It's good. It's
Alert and a natural 20.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Berlinia.
I got 16.
Eric.
23.
And... All right, so here's your order. Dunala, of course, is going first, followed by Eric, followed by Zalkore, followed by Berlinia and Vale. All right, what are you going to do, Dunala? As through the ethereal plane, you see her rising to attack.
Double checking something real quick to make sure I can move while in this plane.
Yes, you can move 10 feet in any direction.
Yeah, I'm moving 10 feet closer to where the orchid is.
Easily done. You basically just have to walk around the backside of the divan and the dais, unless you'd like to walk around the front.
Have
Oh,
I reached it?
there's a very well-timed resubscription. What you looking at? Resubscribing for 10 months. So that earns you guys another domain dice. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate that.
Dope.
All right. So, yeah, 10 feet would get you to the Black Orchid.
So can I pick it up while on the plane, or do I need to jump out? And then
You
jump
cannot.
back in?
You cannot interact with anything from the ethereal plane.
All right, and there's like a dais between me and her, right?
You're on the dais,
Oh shit.
and the
Alright.
couch was kind of, you were at one end, and her and the couch were between you and the orchid. But on the ethereal plane, you just basically moved around the couch, so you're standing next to the orchid.
All right.
But she's still within like 5 feet of it.
Dunala is going to get on one knee. And then let's see here. At the start of your next turn, when the spell ends, you return to an unoccupied space that you vanished from. Okay, so I return back then to the material plane.
Right.
All right, so I return back. I'm going to grab the orchid.
All right, let me just double check something. Yes, it is booby trapped with 500 pounds of C4.
Dope.
No, you are.
T-5
It is, however, in a very large, heavy urn. So are you taking the urn? Are you ripping it out by the roots? Are you cutting it? What are you doing?
I'm taking it by the root. Ain't no one got time to. I'm not no Veil and no Ubo, so I can't be picking this whole thing up.
I would like you to make a
Survival.
no, because you're not taking the time to do it carefully. I want a strength check.
Ah, shit, this is fucking strong thing.
Constitution saving throw from the person.
That's a 4.
In this case, a low roll was actually to your benefit.
Dope.
It's a little more woven into the fabric of the, its root system is a little more woven into the soil, so it doesn't rip right out. It comes up with clumps of dirt, and by not having, a good strong pull on it, you don't really do any damage to it.
All right, so question. So with how the spell works, do I then roll to get back to the ethereal plane or no?
Yes, at the end of each of your turns, you roll that d20 again.
All right, that's an 18, so then I snap
So then
back to the flower.
you're gone. Let me make a quick perception check to see if she noticed you. She does not. How about that roll? She does not notice you there. So since you pop back out, it is now Eric's turn as this woman stands before you.
Yeah, in this act of aggression, Eric will learn none of the lessons he learned from last session and fly straight up in the air as far as he can to get the heck out of the wrath of this angry lady. And will thus, I guess, a technical triple move because he's a rogue for a good old essential 150 feet in the air.
You cannot get 150 feet in the air because you are inside an enclosed structure.
Oh, well, he will leave this enclosed structure first and then do the whoosh.
Okay. You whoosh out the door and you immediately see 36 Ebly surrounding the pool. And several of them take flight as you fly up into the air. We'll say moving out of the structure. What's your total movement? You were going to move 150?
I can walk 25 and fly 50. Those are my speeds.
Right, but you're flying this whole way, so
yeah,
it was 150. So you're 140 feet up in the air. Took you about 10 feet of movement to kind of throw back your wings and just dart out the.
I would actually like also if there are all these Ebly, I'll instead of dashing as my action, I'll just take the dodge action. So it'll be only 90 feet in the air.
Okay, so you're 90 feet in the air and you're going to take the dodge action, which remind me what that does. It gives you a
attacks against me have disadvantage.
That's right. And it is now Zalkore's turn. As she's rising and looking about, she sees looking for Dunala, and suddenly she turns and she actually doesn't notice that the orchid is gone. As she's just looking at now just Berlinia and Vale standing before her. And you can see now that as she holds this long sword, you can see from under this feathery cowl and all of these feathery robes she wears, you can see curling now out from underneath the veil snakes, and they're just
Knew it. I knew it. I called it. God damn, I knew it.
all right. I need to see if this is a single. Berlinia. You actually stated that you were not looking at her.
Yeah. No.
I think she's so angered, she's just going to come charging Yes, she's going to come charging into the midst of the two of you. And she's going to lunge at you, Vale, with her sword. But she makes this weird sort of movement where she kind of kicks one foot up, leans her body back and towards you, Berlinia, as she strikes out at Vale first with the sword. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And at the same time, she leans back so her head is near you, Berlinia, and the snakes on her head strike out at you. It's a 17 on the die, so that's a 22 to hit.
Yep.
And then she's going to whirl the sword around and take a second attack at you, Vale, with the sword. This one is an 11, so she misses. So the sword that struck you, Vale... Sorry, it's not a long sword, it's a short sword. But it deals 6 points of piercing damage as she strikes you with it. Berlinia, you take 5 points of piercing damage as the snakes bite into your skin. And you take another 14 points of poison damage as you feel the warmth of the poison begin to seep into your body. And that is her turn. Berlinia, you're up. You are engaged with Zalkore.
You see Berlinia's eyes widen. She takes an inhale of breath, and you can see that her eyes, as they widen, they lose focus. And they slowly roll back into her head, and she collapses.
Are you unconscious?
I am.
You took a lot of damage last round, game.
I had 11 hit points going in.
Yeah, and you guys
so-
never took any kind of healing or resting or anything.
No.
All right, Berlinia is down. Well, that happened on her turn, so you do get to make a death saving throw right off the bat. And remember,
Yep,
we are
that's
in
a
meat
fail.
grinder mode, so you need to roll a 15 or higher.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Just take a domain die or inspiration.
You can use inspiration or domain dice to re-roll death saves.
Okay, I will use an inspiration. I have some. Nope, still a 5. Okay.
Okay,
Dagnabbit.
Berlinia has collapsed. And Vale, it's your up, and you are engaged with this creature, this woman.
Time just seems to stop for a moment as I see Brill fall, like the eyes rolling back into her head after that snake bite. I'm just filled with a rage, and it's like the Eebly outside can feel it, and the creatures all throughout Chult can feel it. The anger, as I'm tapping into the very essence of what it is to be Chult, to be this chaos, this great and almost deadly place, and I fill it all up in my anger, and I'm going to attack with my rapier, and that is a 12 on the die, but that is a 20 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and that's going to be that is going to be a divine smite. So I'm going to see, and I'm going to cast that actually at level 2. So I believe that's going to be 3. Yeah, 3d8.
Okay.
So I got to roll 48. God damn. And of course, there's that one thing where you pull all your dice out, and then you can't find the d8s to save your goddamn life. So give me 1 second here because I need to pull out more.
While you're doing that, I will say, if you haven't already, you should check the latest. Wizards just put out the latest errata Everybody
Okay.
should check the errata against their characters. Mike, I think that there is an errata that affects in a positive way, the number of spell levels you can use smite up to.
What it was is that he still has the original 1d8 because it was a typo originally that said like at max level it would only be like 5d8, but it actually would be the 6d8.
Right. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, just
Okay, so-
double check that. So
Sure.
if you do max level smite at some point, it can go up to 68 total.
Goes up to 11. All right, so yeah, so rolling
'Cause it's one higher.
48.
How many D8?
48.
All right.
So we got 14, 19, 20. Okay, so basically I'm hitting her for 27 points of damage all told. Do you need to know which one's what's what or no?
Sorry, big sneeze.
Like, do you need to know what damage is what? Is basically- because it is a +1 sword, so
no, I do not need to know
okay.
that. So there's 27 total points of damage as you channel your holy energy
Yeah.
into
And
the
so I'm just gonna-
strike.
Just need to cross off one, so that's 2. And
Better hit her again.
oh, I'm gonna hit her again. Toad's gonna hit her again.
Better smite the fuck out this girl.
And I'm actually gonna use a point of inspiration to re-roll that because that was poopy. Let's try that again. This time with feeling. That's a hell of a lot better. That's a 26 to hit. And same thing again. I'm gonna burn my last level 2 slot until our next long rest. Actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm just gonna burn a level 1. So I'm gonna be rolling 3d8. Still really good. So 12, 19, and 7. So that's 26 points of everything damage.
How many?
26.
She reels as you strike her with these 2 holy strikes, piercing into her flesh as the blood seeps out. And she's just looking at you. The snakes are all hissing. How is this possible? You cannot defeat me. Ubtao is an absentee god.
He's making a comeback. And I'm going to walk away off the stream.
And he gets a point of inspiration for that.
I was just going to say, I'm straight up giving you a point of inspiration for that.
That was terrible. All
No,
right, sure. Okay.
it was well timed. Well done. Dunala.
Dunala's turn has come again. Dunala looks and sees Brill die, and that emotion that's been sown back inside of his heart blossoms. And though Vale feels a rage felt throughout all of Chult, it pales into comparison with the sheer amount of bloodlust that Dunala now feels for this Medusa. And he appears back from the ethereal plane behind her, reaching underneath her veil from behind her to grab her face, and I am casting Blight on her. And that is going to be a Constitution saving throw. Versus, let me go fucking Brock Jones this, because it's way too many dice for me to roll.
So you're reaching up from behind to.
Yeah, I'm trying to grab her face underneath the veil and just blight. I don't need to do that. I'm just doing it because Dunala is something weird that Dunala would do. And then he's casting Blight.
All right.
So that's the Constitution saving throw, DC 17. For 44 points of necrotic damage.
She got an 18 total, 15 on the die. plus
Dang.
3.
So it's going to be half of that. So it's going to be 22 points of damage. Wait a second. Before you write that down, Jake, I would like to use this domain die. Can I make you re-roll that?
You can.
Re-roll that. Get that 18 out of here.
All right. I'm going to roll the same die again. That is a total of 11.
Sick. That's 44 damage this girl's taking. Fucking with my daughter, man. I gotta kill her.
As you touch her face, what does it look like as the blight starts to spread up from the edges of the veil and around her eyes and her ears and even into the snakes a little bit?
What's horrifying about blight is that it does something that in the Forgotten Realms they have no term for because they don't have microscopes, but it's called cell apoptosis, where the cells spontaneously die. And he is basically obliterating the cells in her face and throughout her whole body with this spell. So they turn black, mush, and then hard, and then begin to flake away as if they were dust, like around her face and everything.
As you pull your hand away, you pull the veil away from her face, and you can see her stony complexion. And you can see where the skin is starting to slough away from where your hand touched her. And you can see part of her nose pulls away, her upper lip, and you can see her teeth beneath as she turns and she cries out into the air, "Tirutaya, my love!"
Ethereal plane. I'm back in it.
Hold on, let me check to see if this is a reaction.
How many spell points is a 4th level spell?
Okay. As she says this, "Tirutaya," you all see, well, you don't, Berlinia, as a 10-foot tall, barely visible apparition of a Chultan warrior, looking very much like the one depicted in the 18-foot tall statue in the nearby temple, appears, holding a spear. It slams the spear down in the exact spot where Dunala was just a moment before. Eric, you're 90 feet in the air.
How many of the things are tailing me?
They have taken wing, and none have attacked you yet.
How many of them are there? Is there any that stayed behind?
We'll say half of them stayed behind, which means... well, I'll do this. So there was this many. So I'm going to roll this and see how many took flight. 11, 14... 14 of them have taken flight.
I will taunt the ones that remain. Come and get it! And as I peel away further, I'm actually going to take a swoop down towards the tree line around this place. Hopefully, trying to do a cool kind of like movie scene of me swooping through the canopies of the trees and trying to like knock them back. I want to peel them off from the rest of the group.
So what I'm going to do, there's 14 of them, so we'll do them in groups. What's your AC?
I have an AC of 15.
Oh, and your speed is 50?
Yeah.
Never mind.
I can do bonus action dashes.
Never mind. So right now, outside, as you cut down, zipping amongst the treetops, there's these 14 Ibli just scrambling, frantically flapping their wings, colorful birds and butterflies. There's even a moment where you see, we see a lone Schwinga, perhaps the same one that blessed Vale, in a daisy near on the far side of Nangalore. dipping its hands in and cupping water over as it's bathing itself. And suddenly, Eric swoops by, and the Schwinga kind of stands up in this daisy. And suddenly...
Hang on a second. I'm pretty sure in Chult they have a policy that you don't buzz the flower. Now I'll see myself out.
Oh,
You just made this in the Star Wars, Jake, and I'm so angry at you. I'm so mad.
I didn't make this into Star Wars.
You
No,
have
this is-
Ewoks, and then you have flying through the trees.
That was totally
Where
a
is there
Top
an
Gun
Ewok?
reference. That was a
The
Top Gun
Schwinga are
reference.
basically little
They are not Ewoks.
black Ewoks
They
running
are.
around.
They are not Ewoks. Oh, okay. Anyway, so then we come to Zalkore, who is going to focus her attentions as she looks around, looking for Dunala. And she's going to concentrate her attacks on the only one standing before her that she can see. As she turns her attention directly towards you, Vale. The veil now pulled off from her face. Let me just make sure I'm reading this right. Okay. Vale. Zalkore turns her attention staring at you.
No shit.
She's looking right at you.
Shit.
The first and foremost question I have for you, Vale, having
Yeah, I
seen
know
no
it's-
evidence, is does Vale have any indication that he should actually turn away from her gaze?
See, here's where I'm a little conflicted because one, yes, you'd turn and face your enemy. But two, Brill is also down and Vale cares for her very much. So I think maybe if she's reeling, then he would look to her to see if she's okay.
So
I'll
as
tell
she
you what, how about-
as
how
she
about we-
turns
how about we
towards you,
go
we'll,
up to-
we'll do this because that makes sense. You're looking at Brill, who's down right next to you, and Zalkore is casting about looking for Dunala, and as she turns to see you, you're looking away from her. She screams at you, Vale. Look at me! Now it's a question of whether or not you would actually look.
Fair.
And I will leave that to you. You can handle it however you wish. I know it's a
I
tough
guess-
position. I'm trying not to
No, no,
force
no.
it on you.
No. No. It makes sense. I mean, and the other question is like, would I know about Medusa? Right.
Right. That's the biggest question is Vale is
Yeah.
pretty naive.
Well, I mean, that's more Brill, but pretty much me too. You know what? Let's leave it up. Let's leave it up to a die roll. Hey, Megan, you want to roll for me? Okay, roll a d10. And 1 to 5, I'll look at her. 5 to 10, I will. I'll not.
He's straight up putting
6 to
this
10.
on you, Megan.
So what did you say?
Roll a d10.
Roll a d10.
Okay,
Don't
Fuck this up.
got a 7.
You
Okay, so there you go. I don't look at her.
good job.
Thanks, Megan. You're the best.
So, with you refusing to look at her, she's going to lash out at you physically. I'm going to take away one of her multi-attack for the time
Nah.
that she spent.
Let's do it.
Well,
just
no,
bring it.
no, because of the time she spent trying to get you to look at her. She's not going to use her snakes on you, but she's going to attack you with her sword. It's almost like this feral anger, almost like a spurned angry mother with a switch. She's lashing. She's not using any form or training with her sword. She's just lashing at you like she's trying to beat you down with it. And the first strike, she's swinging so angrily and wildly, she misses you. Sparks fly as she strikes the stone between you. That's a natural 20 on the second one.
Reroll it.
Don't make me spin this, Vale.
There's
Don't
one.
make
All
me
right,
spin
all
this.
right. I'll compel you to use that domain die. That
The last domain die has
Last
disappeared.
one we've got.
I'm going to re-roll the same die. And that is a natural 6. So that's an 11 total.
I see the way you do that. Okay.
So she's so emotionally swinging this sword that she misses you completely. Berlinia, I need another death saving throw.
So I have an actual dice for this, the Akon D20. So we'll see.
Adcon has deserted you, Megan.
Please-
1.
Please tell me you didn't roll a 1.
Maybe
Is it
it's
not-
20. If you bring me down for a 1, Megan, we're fighting. Megan, you brought me down for a 1. Oh my God.
Oh my god.
you have
Um,
any
This is Dwayne's
inspiration?
sister in the end.
Do you have any inspiration?
Use
I do.
inspiration.
I will give this to her. If I must.
I'd give her inspiration.
yeah, I have one left.
If you don't re-roll that shit, why are you wasting my time with this one girl? Re-roll that.
Because just for those who might not be following along, Brill already failed 1 death saving throw, and a critical fail is 2 saving throw failures.
Yeah.
Which that right now as we're standing, that's Brill's actual death.
So I got a 10, so it's still a fail, but it's
No. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is still a fail because we're in meat grinder.
Dag nabbit.
Oh my
Now I
gosh.
have to kill this Medusa. Now I'm even angrier now.
Vale, at your feet, you've been looking at her and you can see the color leaving Berlinia. For a moment, you can't even see the rise and fall of her chest as she's lying there. Vale, what are you going to do?
I'm just going to like reach down, like kind of like fall to my knees and just smack, just smack her on the shoulder, and I'll expend all of my
Vale punches her in the teeth, giving her lay on hands.
yeah, exactly. I'll just
punching her again and again, ground and pound.
Jesus Christ, no.
Vale.
I'll give her all the lay on hands I've got. 30 points.
Vale, what does it look like when you reach down, dropping to your knees, engaged with this creature who you will draw an opportunity attack from?
Yeah.
What does it look like as you drop down and push all of your natural healing ability into Berlinia?
I just hit the ground and looking not at her face, but looking at Zalkore's kind of body, like just kind of seeing where her arms are and knowing it's what's going to happen. I just reach out and grab Berlinia's shoulder and kind of clenching my eyes really tightly. You can just feel like this pulse from like all from my entire being, just healing you. You can just feel it like all at once. So bring it.
In a single heartbeat, all of this healing energy rushes into your body, Berlinia. There's a moment where you gasp. Your eyes shoot open. And you're looking up at Vale, who is kneeled before you. His hand, one hand on your shoulder, the other hand clutching his rapier. In almost slow motion, you can still see the shower of sparks from when the Medusa Zalkore struck the stones between Vale and you, really. And even as you're looking up at Vale, now with all of this life force back in you, you see the Medusa rising with her sword and striking down at Vale. I'm not going to lie, for pure narrative reasons, I wanted that to be a nat 20.
Yeah, that would have been great, actually. Reroll that. I'll let you. My eyes are just looking right into Brill's.
It is a 21 to hit.
Does hit.
It would be... I don't think it would be with advantage because it's a reaction. So you're just going to take the straight up hit. It is going to be 6 points of piercing damage as she strikes down across your back, driving the sword down. Dunala, from the ethereal plane, you've seen all this.
So she moved forward to attack, correct?
Wait, you snapped back. That's right.
Yeah.
She moved forward. No, she was already engaged with them. She hasn't moved from where you touched her from the blight.
All right.
She did move forward initially from... She's not at the dais anymore, if that's your question.
Yeah. So basically, if Dunala would have snapped back, he wouldn't be snapping back inside of a giant stone spear is what I'm getting at.
If you did what?
Like, if I came back to this plane, I wouldn't be inside of this stone spear that the statue swung down, right?
If you come back at the same point that you left, you would be where the spear came down.
Okay.
But to be clear, it's not stone. It is an ethereal creature.
And the spear is lifted, or is it still in the ground?
At this point, it's still kind of in the ground.
Okay. So Dunala snaps back, this time beside the Medusa. And he has his hand this time on her shoulder, physical contact not being necessary. And before he casts the blight spell, he asks her this, just giving her the briefest moment to reply. And he says, "Drop your sword, my queen, or you and your lovers will both be joining in the soulmonger."
And you did what? You put your hand on her shoulder?
Yeah, basically, the moment she says anything that's not her dropping her sword, I'm casting blight.
The moment you put your hands on her, you are hit with the spear.
Oh, shit.
And you take...
Damage, Jake.
You take 14 points of force damage as this ghostly spear strikes into you.
All right. Well, Dunala, having received his answer, cast blight.
That was a con save?
Yeah, it's a con save.
That is a 5.
Bet. That's 47 points of necrotic damage.
47, you say? Let me check something.
And then ethereal plane. Please don't fuck this up. Bet. I got 12. That's one above.
And these 9's the... How does Dunala end this?
The moment the spear goes through his chest, his hand doesn't move. It's still on her. And then, light as a lover's caress, he drags his finger down her spine. And as he does so, he annihilates her entire spinal column. And her back kind of like opens up like it's been unzipped, and organs just spill out of it onto the ground.
As as this happens, the form of Thirotaya, the apparition that struck you with its spear, you see it looking at her, collapsing into just a mess. You see it spin its spear around, thump the butt end on the ground. It looks down at you, Dunala, and it says in your mind, "Then it is done," in Chultan. And then its fingers pass through your head. And as it does so, it vanishes. But in that moment, you're suddenly transported backwards in time for a moment. And you see Zalkore in her once powerful and great regal beauty as the true queen of Omu. Her foremost general and consort, Thirotaya, has just brought her to Nangalore, then called Ka Nanji, the Hanging Garden of Dreams, and presented it to her as a gift. You see, as he pleads with her, that she is already the most beautiful creature, but Zalkore wanted to live forever. And she bargained with an Erinyes to retain her youth and beauty forever. And that is when she was transformed into a Medusa. Zalkore was forced to abdicate her throne and was exiled to Ka Nanji, which became known ever after as Nangalore, the Garden of Lost Dreams. But Zalkore believed that Thirotaya was one who turned against her, and she defaced all of the images of her throughout the garden. And the other images you see are for centuries as she rules over this garden as it slowly falls to decay. When Thirotaya dies, his ashes are brought and placed in the urn next to the statue of himself in the central chamber. And over the centuries, Zalkore slowly grows more and more insane, straddling an existence between the memories of her rule in Omu and her retreat of Ka Nanji, but also realizing that she was an exiled queen living in Nangalore, and that over the centuries, as she consumed more and more of the hallucinogenic plants that make up this garden, she became crazier and crazier. And Thirotaya's spirit was tied to her, bound to protect her. But in those last moments, you freed him. And I don't know how long ago this came in. I'm going to see. It came in just a few minutes ago. Perhaps it was intended to be able to save you, so we would have retconned it. What you're looking at has donated $10 to the stream to purchase 2 more domain dice for you. I meant to keep an eye out for that because those notices only come up on my phone. So you would have had a little extra salvation there, Berlinia. So all of that happens in a moment, Dunala.
Does Dunala feel emotion overall again, or just for the 5 people Uptal showed him?
So here's the last little thing that happens in this moment. As you pull your hand away, you first notice that as the blight was causing Zalkore's skin to twist and turn and corrupt and slough away, you look at your hand and you see about a half a dozen scales fall away from your hand. And you do feel just a twinge of that old human emotion in this moment. You tell us what you feel.
Dunala sees the scales fall away. And as that memory, that flash of the past goes through his mind, he looks to the Medusa's dead face on the ground. And then he looks to Brelenia, and he wonders which of these 2 are the reason for his cheeks being so wet with his tears right now. And he wipes them away with his scaled hand, and then he's going to move over to where Brelenia and Vale is.
Seeing what has just happened with Dunala disintegrating this Zalkore, you still see this happen beyond Vale, Berlinia, who you did see just struck a moment ago, and then almost instantly Dunala appeared and seemed to disintegrate her. So we're going to go to you, Berlinia, having just been brought back from the brink of death once again at the hand of Vale and saved at the hand of Dunala. What's going on with Berlinia?
Imagine that Vale has his hand on Berlinia's shoulder, and she reaches up and she grabs his arm and she looks at him. And for an instant, you see this glow over her scars as they kind of move about. And you can feel, Vale, this warming sensation, that healing. But she looks at you, and you can see that there are just tears in her eyes. And it comes out as more of a whisper. She more mouths the words than actually says them. Thank you. Thank you so much. She heals you for 8 as well.
And with that, we'll slide right up to Vale.
BT dubs.
Cool. Well, that's good because I could sure use that healing. Yeah, I can, as I can feel the wound kind of beginning to close up. I kind of reach up behind and grab her back and kind of like pull her up, and I'll look to you, Dunala. You all right?
Dunala looks to you, Vale, and then back to Belenia, and then back to you, Vale, and then down to the flower in his hand. And he says, Dunala sincerely begs you for forgiveness. If I knew the battle would have went like this, I would have killed her sooner before grabbing the flower. And it might be strange for both of you, but Dunala sounds like actually sincere and not like he's like faking the emotion. And then he hands the flower, the black orchid, over to you, Vale. And he throws the emotion away afterwards.
I'll put the flower very carefully in my pack. Right. Well, let's go gather up this. Wait, hang on a second. Is anybody? Can we just have a quick look around and see if we can find another flower?
Eric and I run outside.
Fuck him. He left.
Yeah, where's Eric?
I don't know. He scarpered the moment things got dangerous.
Eric, you have been quickly zipping in and out, dodging and weaving, occasionally looking back and seeing that you're slowly getting further and further ahead of these Ebly. When, as you kind of bank up and away from the trees on another pass, you notice that the Ebly that were following you in a tight formation seem to just sort of lazily just start flying in different directions. The other 36 just alight and take to the air like a sudden, very large flock of birds with a cacophonous sound of large flapping wings. And they quickly fly off into the jungle, no longer tied to Nangalore.
They just seem to just scatter.
They've lost all interest in you, and they just seem to disperse.
Well, it seems I have done my job. I am a brave Aarakocra, he says to himself, and he swoops down, and he's covered in little bits of debris of branches from these tight-knit, roller coaster swoops and dives, trying to catch them in the branches and stuff. He comes down in a huff. He's breath on his chest is rising and falling from this high action flight.
Are you okay, my friend?
I am better than okay, my friend.
That is good. I see you distracted these. And he points to the birds now flying away.
There was a very suitable distraction.
I would trust you to be nothing less. The Medusa, the queen, as she was calling herself, has been disposed of, and whatever curse on this place, likewise disposed of. The Black Orchid, found. Secured.
It is very good news. I'm glad that my ability to take those other warriors away from the fight was a good tactic and was ensuring your success.
Yes. And then he looks back into the dome, waiting to see what Vale and Berlinia are doing.
Vale, were you looking around, inspecting this place? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this place the once over.
So
maybe even twice over. Also loot.
In
Actually, depends. I'll loot her if her face is down.
Her face is dissolved into a puddle of mush.
Fantastic.
Which unfortunately has soiled the otherwise beautiful dress of iridescent flowers. But lying off to one side, her feathered headdress. Nope, sorry, I read that wrong. No, it's her feathered dress itself that would have been worth something, but it's kind of currently soaked in her own gore. Other than that,
just wash that out.
Give me an investigation check.
Sure. Do I even have points into that? I don't have points into that. Well, it's not bad. 14.
You find in the lair near the dais, actually, near the couch upon which she lounged, there is a leather container. It's a pouch, and it has several little slots in it for glass vials. There's slots for 12, but 5 of these vials are empty. The other 7 contain some sort of a liquid that has a slight greenish yellow tint to it.
Knowing that normally when you find an unknown liquid just in a random place in the middle of nowhere, I would automatically drink it. I'm just kidding. That would be dumb.
You would possibly remember from just not long ago, Berlinia spent some time. You were off investigating while Berlinia spent some time harvesting a bunch of those hallucinogenic leaves. I'm just trying to find the name here. Jessamine. Jessamine is the merchant prince that deals in these kinds of things. That these vials themselves could potentially be worth something back in Port Nine Zaru.
Yoinks.
Or you could drink one if you wanted.
Nope.
Or if anybody else wants to.
Nope. I'll pop them in my pack.
All right, mark down that you have 7 vials of dream tincture.
That sounds like some Dunala shit. I almost metagame drinking one of these.
Berlinia has 6 pounds of these leaves.
That's right. You do have 6 pounds of leaves.
Dang.
Well, I need to tell Dunala this. He's about to be fucking lit back at the temple.
Sounds like what's that stuff that they chew in Middle East? Khat, I think it is. QAT. You just put it in your mouth and you chew it. Well, it has a natural like the oils have this natural like pain killing, kind of makes you feel like kind of lightheaded and good.
So after a little while of looking around the garden, you do not discover any other black orchids anywhere. There's still some rather dangerous plant life in here. And you feel that Nangalore is still a dangerous place, but that the real danger of it has been taken care of, and you have fulfilled your quest of retrieving the black orchid, and you are now free to return back to Kir Sabal, where Ashara Tahu can complete the Dance of the 7 Winds, granting you the power of flight to speed you on your way towards the lost city of Omu. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. Megan, oh my gosh. I was so scared. I mean, that's a part of D&D, but that would have left Vale as the only original party member. And I honestly couldn't tell when you made that face if you rolled a 20 or a 1.
Yeah, and then I was like, don't show me a 1. What'd you do, Megan? You showed me a fucking
Because
1.
if you didn't have the inspiration and as I said, we would have retconned based on the timestamp for the domain dice that the gods threw your way. But still, I mean, you still failed that second time.
Yeah. My heart just like fell into my stomach.
I mean, yeah, that's rough. I honestly don't know. I don't know how. That definitely would have dramatically changed the ending of this session. Yeah, so thankfully it's passed, and we're getting an insight. I think the longer we go, the harder it gets to. I mean, if Eric dies, it's like, he was a throwaway anyway.
Oh yeah, dude's a birdie red shirt.
By the way, Mike and Jake, between this session and next session, assuming we're going to start off in Kir Sabal, Dunala would have asked Vale to say prayers over this place and over the queen.
Yeah, right.
Keep that in mind for the future as a thing Dunala would ask.
So,
I mean, I assume we're going back anyway, so I mean, you could just say like in between the session that I'll bless this place as much as Vale kind of can, and and then I don't know, probably throw a little bit of dirt over top of the queen's rapidly deteriorating body.
So I would like you guys to go ahead. We'll go around, say final words. But this does mean I'll check to see if he's available, but our good friend Ken Brees will probably be returning as Ashara. Tahu.
Yo, I'm with Megan. Level 8? Level 8? Level 8?
Oh,
Level
you
8?
guys are not level 8 yet.
Man, fuck this game.
I told you once you got past level 5, it was going to take you longer to level.
Man, I don't want to take long. I want to blight more people.
My goal is to put you into the actual Tomb of Annihilation well below the level you should be when you get there.
So level 15, perhaps?
No.
Yes.
No,
Nice.
below the level
Great.
you should be when you get there.
Oh, good. Good, because I was worried that we would be at a level that we would have like a chance.
Yeah,
I will say it's a good thing Dunala was using that blink the way he was, because Thero Tio, or whatever his name was, Taya, once he shows up, he can't miss.
Ain't no one fucking with that undead
Wow.
dope bastard.
That's
Yeah, he was a special spirit warrior when she reached a certain damage threshold that he shows up, and it's kind of like it's a once per turn, it's a reaction. But yeah, whoever injured her, he was striking at and was not missing. With that, we're going to go around in reverse order. Give us your final words. Tell us where we can find you. Mike, I'll let you tell us what's going on tomorrow night. I don't have, actually, I want to say this real quick, because I forgot to mention it at the beginning. I don't have the graphics and stuff ready to show right now on the stream. But if you are a fan of the Chult personality or of Mini Terrain Domain in general, there are t-shirts available now. I've got t-shirts that are the Castle and Shield and Cross Tools logo, just the straight up, but like you see up here in the corner, the Mini Terrain Domain Imagine Build Play. I've got a really cool one that's a tavern sign with the logo and a banner, established 2014, Metade. And then we've got just Metade. But for Chult personality, we have the Chult personality logo like you see in the opening credits as a worn t-shirt logo. We have a comic book style design that says Chult personality, an epic jungle adventure, and features much of the artwork like you see around here and in the opening credits from Locrius. And this little guy right here, the Domain Devil, is also his own t-shirt. And finally, there is one for All That Glitters. That's the wonderful alliterative phrase that was created. So you can head over to, it's a really weird, I'm going to put it in the chat, but it is it's redbubble.com/people/mtd-jake/shop. And while everybody's talking, I'll go ahead and drop that link into the chat. So if you're interested, you can pick up a shirt and show your support and love of MTD to everybody else in the real world. Mike, what's going on tomorrow? Tell us where else we can find you. Final words.
all right. Well, I mean, Monday I got to wake up at 4, and then I got to go to work, and I don't know. I was gonna go home and like come back home and I don't know, make some dinner, maybe relax, watch a little bit of Drag Race.
This guy. So I need
tomorrow-
the get a load of this guy cam.
This guy over here. Tomorrow we have All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist mega campaign. It is session 7. Please join me as I'm going to be the one in the DM's chair, trying desperately to murder my players, their characters. No, I'm going to try and murder the players. So join myself and Jake and Megan down here, and also Dwight, Big Bearded Nerd, and of course, V, the Crafting Muse, as we carry on with a bunch of horrible things that the players have made their own personal hells in, and I just get to run through it, and it's just wonderful. It just makes me laugh. It's like, it's great. So you can find me on the Twitter, where I talk to cooler people than me. You can find me on I guess on my channel if you really want to. It's the same thing, Mike the Piper, and yeah, that's it. Now for a really much cooler person.
Megan, once again at the brink of death's door.
Oh man. As soon as my heart gets back to a normal rhythm, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice. And starting in January, I'm going to be running a campaign. Very excited. It's Curse of Strahd. So I got lots of awesome people playing. Most of them are here. So yeah, so check that out starting in January.
Yes, definitely check that out because it's going to be dope. Connor.
Hey, I'm the bird guy. Yeah, I just kind of flew around and was very helpful at helping them not die by the hand of hundreds of Zeebly. I am happy and looking forward to next week where I get to do a fun little tahoo. With that being said, I don't have much else to say. All right, Marquis.
Take us home, Marquise.
I'm Marquise, the unzipper of Medusas. I'm a cool guy. I got locks. I'm mixed. Check me out on this channel, man. I'll be in Brill stuff too with Curse of Strahd. Check me up in that shit too, Doug. I'm gonna make that shit fucking wild gazebo style. And then go to scavengerworld.net and see the latest project I'm working on. If you like Dark Sun, Planescape 5e, Dark Souls, cool art, or Marquise, which is the most integral part of that project.
And I am MTD Jake at MTD_Jake on Twitter, where you can, if you follow me, you can keep up on all the latest and greatest going on with Mini Terrain Domain. Lots of cool stuff happening. Chult of Personality on Sunday nights. Mike told you about the All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign on Monday nights. And on Thursdays, we are nearing the end of our mini campaign, episode 11 of the Sunless Citadel, which also features Megan, as well as V, the Crafting Muse, Jeremy Lilly from Erasmus Expeditions, and the one and only DM Scotty from the DM's Craft. That campaign is wrapping up, but we have decided to do a season 2. And if you tune in on Thursday, we are going to show a teaser trailer for season 2 and make the first official announcement of who the 5th player joining that campaign will be. So yeah, tune in for that. If you're watching this on Twitch, of course, all these games happen at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on their respective days on Twitch. Follow Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch, or even subscribe on Twitch. Like what you're looking at, who is our longest subscriber. He's been a subscriber for 10 months on the channel. And you can be just like him and get a cool little starred MTD castle next to your name. But also be able to keep up on when all our games go live. If you missed the live game, you can check them out 2 days later on youtube.com/miniterraindomain. That's all I've got. We're going to get out of here, but we are going to end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it along with me if you want. Murder.